Hello and welcome to our math lesson today. In math, you are going to need two things, your math journal and a pencil. That's it for today. So please get those things and then we'll get started. So far in this math unit, Unit 7, we've learned about fact families and we've learned a subtraction strategy. Today, I'm going to be teaching you another subtraction strategy. We are not doing a math warm-up today because the warm-up that the lesson has for us is not something that I can do with you over the camera. So that's why you don't need your math notebook today. We're going to skip that part and jump right into the lesson. The subtraction strategy we learned last week and we practiced yesterday was think addition. That's one way you can solve a subtraction problem. Today, I'm going to be teaching you about counting up and counting back. You probably already know how to do both of those strategies, but today we're going to review them and then figure out which one is better in a different situation. So when should we use them? So to get started, I want you to think about the answer to this question. If I have an 8, and in my number sentence, I have a missing number here, but I know that the answer is 11, how could I figure that out? You don't need to write this down or anything. Just think for a second. How would you figure out what this missing number is? Do you have your answer? Maybe you said, well, to get from 8 to 11, I could count up. So I could say 8, 9, 10, 11. We've been working on that, right? We've been counting up a lot, especially with our fingers. That's a great way to solve the problem. Another way to solve this problem would be to say, well, I know there's 11 as the sum. I could use that as the beginning number of a subtraction sentence, and I could count back, starting at 11, count back 8, just like this says, and then get my answer. Let's try that out. So if I have 11, I'm going to count back 8. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I started at 11. I counted back 8. I said the number I landed on was 3. I was holding up 8 fingers because I counted back 8. Now, which method was faster? Counting up, starting at 8 and counting to 11, 9, 10, 11, or counting back, starting at 11 and counting back 8. Remember, that's when we said 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's a little faster to count up in that situation when we started at 8 and counted up to 11 because I only had to count 3 instead of counting back 8. Counting to 3 is faster than counting to 8. So in that situation, counting up would have worked better. We are going to work through our math journal page for today as the lesson because that will help you to get some hands-on practice on how to use this strategy. So can you open up your math journal to page 142? Looks like this. On page 142, it says counting up and counting back, which is what I just told you about. Then it says solve each problem by counting up. Record your counts. Then solve each problem by counting back. Record your counts. Circle which way was faster. So we're going to do this problem 2 times. two different ways and circle which one was faster. Let's get started. All right, number 1 says 9 minus 2 equals. Then it says count up. So in order to count up to solve this problem, I have to start at the smaller number and count up to the bigger number. So that would look like this. I start at 2, that's the smaller number, and I'm going to count up until I get to 9. Okay, so here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, how many fingers am I holding up? 7. So that must mean that 9 minus 2 equals 7. Now they're asking you to write down the answer. We know the answer is 7. But right here it says count up. They want to know, how did you count up? What numbers did you say when you counted up? So just then, when I was counting, I was holding up my fingers and I said 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Those are the numbers I said when I was counting up. You're gonna write those numbers on the line. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm gonna write 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I put commas in between all my numbers to show that it's not one long number, it's actually a list of numbers. So I separate each number by putting a comma in between them. Now it says we should try to solve it by counting back. So if I'm going to count back, I need to start at the bigger number and count back however much the smaller number is. So that means I'm going to start at 9. I'm going to count back 2 because it's telling us that our numbers are 9 and 2. So if I start at 9 and I count back 2, I would say 8, 7. Oh, that was really fast. Counting back 2 didn't take me very long. So again, I know that 9 minus 2 is 7. I can write that down. But then when it says count back, I have to actually write down what numbers I said when I counted back. Just now, when I used my fingers to count back 2, I said the numbers 8, 7. Now, which way was faster? Was it this one where we had to list all those numbers? Or was it this one where we just said 2 numbers? Obviously, counting back was faster for this particular problem. We're going to circle the words count back because they asked us to circle which one was faster, and it was counting back. So we circled that. All right, let's do number 2. Number 2 says 11 minus 9 equals what? Okay, if we're going to count up to do that, we have to start at the smaller number, count up to the bigger number. We'll write down the numbers that we say as we go. Okay, so when we counted up, we said the numbers 10, 11. How many numbers is that? It's 2. So 11 minus 9 must be 2. If we count back in this situation, we're going to start at the bigger number, which is 11, and count back 9. So we're going to write down the numbers that we say when we count back. If I'm starting at 11 and I'm counting back 9, I'm going to say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm holding up 9 fingers. That's how many I wanted to count back. The number that I landed on was 2. That was the last number I said right here. So we already know that 11 minus 9 is 2. We have to write all the numbers that we said when we were counting back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. And so we'll make a list of numbers by putting commas in between them. And those are the numbers that we said as we were counting back that time. Now, which method was faster? Was it counting up or counting back? Obviously, for this one, it was faster to count up because there was only 2 numbers that we had to count. So we'll circle count up for that one. All right, I'm gonna have you try number 3 on your own right now. So for number 3, it says 7 minus 5 equals what? In order to count up, you're gonna start at the smaller number and count up till you get to the big number. Go ahead and write down the numbers that you say when you do that and figure out what 7 minus 5 is. Pause the video if you need to. To count back, you are going to start at the bigger number and count back as many as the smaller number is. So you would start at 7 and count back 5. See what you land on. Write down the numbers that you said when you counted back. Go ahead and do that now. Pause the video if you need to. Now, out of these 2 strategies, was it faster to count up or was it faster to count back? Circle the one that was faster, the one that didn't take as long to count. Number 4 says 11 minus 4 equals what? To count up, remember, you're going to start at the smaller number and count up until you get to the bigger number. You're going to write down the numbers that you hear when you count and figure out what is 11 minus 4. Go ahead and do that right now. To count back, you're going to start at the bigger number, which is 11, and count back 4. Write down the numbers that you say when you do that. Start at 11, count back 4. Then what is 11 minus 4? Write that down here. Out of these 2 strategies, which one was faster for 11 minus 4? Was it counting up or counting back? Circle the one that was faster. Now, you can use counting up or counting back for subtraction problems. We just learned how to do that. It just kind of depends on the subtraction problem, which one you're going to use. It's always smarter to use the faster method, but if you don't end up using the faster strategy, that's okay. You'll still reach the answer in the end, right? We still got all the answers on this page, whether we counted up or counted back. Counting up and counting back is a great way to solve subtraction problems. Will you please turn to page 141 in your math journal? So we're going to go back a page. You're going to do the math boxes on this page. I'm going to quickly read to you the math box directions for each one. After I read to you what the directions are, you might want to just pause the video, solve that problem, and then move on to hear me say the next directions for the next problem. So on page 141, that's math boxes 7-3. Number 1 says, record the time. It's a little after what o'clock? So you're going to put a number in there. Number 2 says subtract. So you're subtracting tens for this one. Number 3 says which number has 5 ones and 6 tens? So fill in the bubble next to the number that has 5 ones and 6 tens. Number 4 says use your number grid. Remember, you have a number grid at the back of your math journal. Use your number grid. Start at 36, count up 22. What do you get? when you have 36 plus 22? Number 5 says, this graph shows the colors of beads on a necklace. It has 1 red bead, 4 gray beads, and 2 blue beads. Finish labeling the graph. So here they're asking you to write some words and some numbers so that the graph looks complete. So again, we're showing the colors of beads on a necklace. The title of the graph always goes up here at the top. So what is the title of the graph? Well, they just told you. They're showing you, the graph is showing you colors of beads. So that's what you're going to write on that line. Here, the title of the graph, colors of beads. It told you that that's what the label would be. Then it says number of blank. Well, what is the thing that we're counting? Beads. So the number of beads is going to go here. You're going to write the word beads on this line right here. And then they told you 3 different numbers for 3 different colors that are on that necklace. So you'll have to find which color only had 1 of that color. Let's read the directions again. It has 1 red bead, 4 gray beads, and 2 blue beads. Which one only had 1? It was the red one. So we're going to write the word red down here under where the graph shows a 1 because there was only 1 red bead. Which color had 4? It has 1 red bead, 4 gray beads, and 2 blue beads. It was gray. So we're going to put gray under the where it shows 4 blocks on the graph. Which color had 2? Let's read it again. It has 1 red bead, 4 gray beads, and 2 blue beads. So you're going to put blue here under where it shows the 2 on the graph. Number 6 says write names that equal 10. Now it does not tell you how many names to write, but I bet you could do at least 5 different ways to make 10. Remember, you can show tally marks, money, pictures, addition, subtraction, words. You could show lots of different ways to make 10, and I know you know how to do that. All right, after you've finished math boxes on page 141, you are all done with math for today. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye.